What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and in today's video, I'm gonna show you the 5 steps that, if used correctly, will help you to make millions in your 20s. So with all of that being said, let's jump into it. All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, my name's Chandler and I'm 29 years old. I currently own over $10 million of real estate, and this last year, my sales organization did over 14 million in sales, and that was actually door-to-door sales. So we put on over 14 million in sales in under 4 months. Now, because of this sales organization and real estate, I've been able to acquire millions of dollars in my 20s. Now, I know that sounds way over the top, and so just know my goal is not to come across as arrogant as all. The reason I decided to do this video is I really believe there are certain steps that, if taken properly, you can amass wealth a lot more quickly at a young age. And so in this video, I wanted to share 5 steps that, if followed, they'll help you to amass a lot of wealth. And if followed properly, I really do believe that anyone can make millions of dollars in their 20s. Now, the other thing that I want to hit on briefly is money is an indicator of success, but it is not the only indicator of success. As a matter of fact, I don't even believe it is the best indicator of success. I think it's actually a little lower on the list. However, I have come to find that as you amass wealth, financial freedom or financial independence is so huge when it comes to your happiness. I've seen so many incredible people with incredible skill sets that never find a way to get ahead. And because of that, money is all that they think about because they're always so strapped. They're always wondering how to pay that next bill. And so I want to be very upfront in saying there are incredible people that go their entire life without ever becoming wealthy or financially free. And those people are not any lesser because of that. As a matter of fact, I really believe a lot of those people could have been a lot more financially successful if they just knew the right way to do things. And so I'm creating this video not to talk down or not to minimize people that don't have wealth, but to share some steps that I really do believe can help you to amass wealth quickly and at a young age so that you can be financially free. Let's jump into these steps. So the first step is live below your means. And I'm sure you were expecting this step. However, a lot of people use this step incorrectly. And what I mean by that is, if you are young, especially if you're just going to college or even if you're in high school, you need to understand that you must live on less than you're bringing in. All right. It is so crucial that if you're bringing in $30,000 a year, that you live off of $20,000 a year. And I know that sounds crazy, but you've got to find a way to live below your means so that you can have a safety net. So that if you do run into crap or issues or financial woes, then you're able to cover those. You're able to put yourself in a situation where you have a buffer so that if you do see an opportunity to jump in or you do run into financial issues, you have that buffer to bail you out or to help you capitalize on that opportunity. Now, this is so important because if you don't have that buffer, you'll miss out on opportunities, or when crap does hit the fan, you'll be in a place where you're underwater. And a lot of times, once people get underwater, it's so hard for them to ever get out of that situation. So please, when you're single, when you can still live with your parents, find a way to live below your means. Now, the reason that I say that people blow this out of proportion is they think if they stay in the same dead-end job their entire life and they continue to live below their means, that they'll get to a place where they're financially free. Now, there is some truth to this. By the time you hit 50 or 60 years old, yes, you might have a good retirement and you might be able to retire, but you wasted the entire prime of your life not spending on things that you want to do or that you want to experience. And so understand, I'm not saying there's ever a time to live above your means, all right? But I am saying that you can make more money, and there's nothing wrong with living within your means as long as you're making a bigger income, so that within your means is still living an awesome life where you can spend on the house and the vacations and the cars and the things that you and your family have always wanted, and you can do it while you're in your prime. So understand, it's not a bad thing to spend on nice things. You just have to be smart early on, and you have to capitalize on the right opportunities so that living below your means is still giving you the ability to live your dream lifestyle. that's step number one. If you're in high school, if you're in college, make sure you live below your means. Make sure you put a bunch away in savings so that you've got that for when you need to use it to capitalize on opportunity. Step number two is find a job that pays you based on production, not on your time. Now, I'm sure there are going to be people out there that say, Chandler, there are plenty of people that have been able to get rich off of their time rather than off of some kind of production. And here's the reality. That's true, but not in their 20s. And if they do, I'd love for you to send it to me. I'm sure they exist, but it is so rare. Even if you look at doctors, dentists, lawyers, yes, they have an hourly wage. However, the reason the majority of them end up getting ahead is because they have certain services they provide where they can get much more in an hour than what their actual hourly wage is. From surgeries, from big cases, from whatever it is, the people that truly get wealthy, it's because they find a way to make more per hour than just an hourly wage. They find a way to produce to where they can get paid more based on that production. And so please, find a job that pays you based on production, not on an hourly wage. Now, I'm not gonna dive into whether you should go to college or how you should get to a point where you can find that job, but I am going to tell you that by going to college, you can find jobs that pay you based on production. I'm also going to tell you that by not going to college, you can find jobs that pay you based on production. And there's a lot that goes into this, but the other thing you need to understand is sometimes you're going to do a job that you don't like. All right? The majority of people have to do that. So if you're going to do a job that you don't like, find a way to become the best at it and make sure that it's a job that pays you based on production. And so I promise you, if you can find a job that pays you based on production and you become the best at it, you will be in a situation where you are making way more hourly because you're not getting paid hourly. You're getting paid on what you produce, and you're going to become the best at it so that you can produce a lot. Now, it sounds crazy, but for me, that job was knocking doors and selling pest control. When I was 21 years old, I went out and decided to take a job, and in 3.5 months, I ended up making over $96,000. And right away, I recognized, holy cow, as a 21-year-old being paid based on production for selling a pest control account, I can make way more doing this than doing any other kind of hourly job that I could get right now after not having a college degree and not having any experience in anything else. Yet I can go out and work hard and sell something and be able to make $96,000 in a summer. And so that's what I did, and that's what kind of put me down my path. But that isn't the only job. There's so many different opportunities where you can get paid based on production, and you can put yourself in a place where you're making a ton of money. Now, if you're interested about this door-to-door sales job, I still work doing a door-to-door sales job. I don't go out personally and knock doors anymore, but I manage over 300 sales reps, and I'm always looking for good talent. And so if you're interested, you can apply below at www.elitesummersales.com. And we don't hire everyone, but we are looking for those guys that are in their 20s that are wanting to go out and work hard. And I promise you, if you're one of those guys, this is a place where you can make that kind of money, but also understand any other job that meets that criteria and pays based on production, you can do the same thing. And so if you're interested, you can apply below. If not, go and find a job that pays you based on production. All right, step number 3 is find a job that is scalable. Now, if we look at my door-to-door sales job, I reached a point where I knew I could go out in the summer and I could sell a ton of accounts. However, I was still using my time. Now, I was getting paid based on production, so I could get paid a lot more than if I was doing some kind of hourly job, but there was still a cap. I mean, even if I became the best salesman in the world, if I'm selling a $500 product door to door, there's a limit on how much I could make. And so I needed to find a situation where it could be scalable. So for me, what made this job scalable is for me going and finding other sales reps and training them how to do what I did, and then getting paid a small commission for finding and training these sales reps. So now I put myself in this opportunity where I could not only help other people make the kind of money that I made, but I also could scale myself so that I didn't need to be knocking doors every day to still make money off of my production. And so I was super motivated to find incredible sales reps, to train them properly, and to help them make a ton of money, because if they made a ton of money, I scaled my business and I made even more money. And then I could do the same thing with them, where I could teach them, hey, now you're a great salesman. Now you need to lead a team. And as you lead a team, now you can scale and put yourself in the same situation that I'm in. And that's even going to better my situation. Now, I'm starting to sound a little bit like a pyramid scheme, but here's the reality. The big difference between a pyramid scheme and a successful business owner is a very fine, well, it's not a fine line, but it's a line. And the difference is a pyramid scheme requires people to pay money to be a part of it. A good business where you help other people to scale based on production is something where they don't have to buy into the product. They don't have to spend money. They're just able to come to learn a skill set, to learn leadership, and to be able to grow within that company. And so with this, not only was my job a situation where I was based on production, but it was also scalable so that I could grow and train and help other sales reps to do the same. So the next step is make sure that you find a job that is scalable. Now, this was my situation. However, I've seen people on YouTube that their job is scalable because they can get more viewers. I've seen people that sell a product and their job is scalable because they can advertise online. They can use different platforms. You just need to find a place where you're paid based on production, and then where you can scale it and where you can scale it big. All right, now let's jump to step number 4, and that is capitalize on opportunity. And I'm sure there are some of you saying, Chandler, that's so dumb. Of course, you need to capitalize on opportunity. We get it. But here's the deal. This step is so important, and it shouldn't be number 4. It should be the number that goes in between all of these, because it is so crucial to recognize an opportunity and to jump on it. I can't tell you how many people there are that just out of laziness, they miss huge opportunities that could have completely changed their financial situation and their life, and they're just too lazy or too complacent to make the jump and commit and do the work required to capitalize on that opportunity. And so let me give you an example. All right. I still manage 300 plus sales reps. And with these sales reps, I see it so often where I'll interview a guy. We'll hire him. He's got all the talent in the world. He'll show up and he'll knock doors a couple days. As a matter of fact, he will kill it. In his first 5 days of knocking, he'll be on track to make 6 figures in the summer. And he hits day number 6 and he says, you know what? This is hard. This is a lot of work. I'm not willing to make the sacrifice for a full 4 months to be successful at this. So even though I've done well this first week, I'm gonna let off the gas. I'm either gonna quit, I'm gonna do something else, or I'm just going to coast and not work the hours and not put in the time. And I'm just gonna be okay producing half of what I'm capable of. Well, here's what's interesting. The way that we pay our sales reps is on a progressive pay scale. So for example, they'll start at 25% commission, but they can work all the way up to where they're getting a 50% commission on all of the accounts they sell. And what's so cool about it is each benchmark they hit a new commission, they get that commission on all the work that they've done. And so what's so interesting to me is we'll have a sales rep that will come out and be capable of selling 400 accounts, but he only does 200. And then we'll have another sales rep that comes out and just works his butt off and hits 400 accounts. Now, anyone that looks at this would say, hey, this guy just worked 2 times as hard, all right? That shouldn't be that much of a difference. Well, here's the funny thing. Usually, it's not even 2 times as hard. It's just a little bit harder, gets them that extra 2 sales in a day. Because of the way that we pay, the guy that only did 200 accounts will come and make $25,000. Where the guy that did 400 will be pushing $80, $90, $100,000 because he's tapped out the pay scale. And the reason I love this example is I truly believe this example carries over into every job or opportunity that you ever get. Everything that you do is on a progressive pay scale. And I know you might say, what do you mean? Well, here's the reality. When you get momentum and when you're doing the right things and when you're finding success, it is just exponential in the amount of money that you will make, regardless of what the job is or what the pay scale is. Yet our pay scale makes it so blatantly obvious that if you are someone that just produces double, you make 4 times as much. And so please be the person that recognizes that opportunity. It makes me sick when I see sales reps come through that are capable of making 6 figures in 3.5 months, and yet they make 25 grand because they don't recognize the opportunity and they don't capitalize on it. Now, this is just one example. There's starting businesses, there's working in other careers, there's going through college and capitalizing on those opportunities. There's so many different places where you have to recognize that that portion of your life needs to be a sprint. And that's something I'll say over and over and over again to my sales reps is recognize when you need to sprint. Life is not a marathon. All right? It's a combination of lots of sprints. And if you sprint at the right time, it could end up making you 4 times as much money and then put you in a place where you're able to make 10, 20, 100, 1,000 times as much money purely because you capitalized here and it put you in a place to be able to capitalize down the road. This concept segues perfectly into step number 5, and that is use leverage. Now, right away, the word leverage might take your brain in a ton of different ways, but here's what you need to understand. The principle of leverage can make you millions of dollars if used properly. It is so huge. It's probably my favorite principle, or at least top 3 favorite principles when it comes to any kind of self-help. And for you to understand how this works, you need to understand my definition of leverage. And what my definition of leverage is taking something small that you already have and using that small thing to move a big thing to bring you success. Now, essentially, that's anyone's definition of leverage. I mean, you've seen the teeter-totter. You can use a little bit of weight to move a big weight because you've got the right leverage. And a teeter-totter isn't a perfect example unless you move the teeter or the totter, whichever one that is. But my point is, whatever you do in life should always be used as leverage for your next big win. I'm gonna repeat that. Whatever you do in life, any successes you've had should always be used to leverage into your next big success. Let me give you an example. I came out and I made a ton of money in sales. But because I had made a ton of money in sales, I needed something to do with that money, so I started investing it in real estate. Now, I'm able to leverage this money I got to purchase real estate that's now going to make me more money. But now I double leveraged because not only did I take the money and use it to create more money, but I used that money and I leveraged debt. So now I could take $50,000 from that $96,000 that I'd made and I could put that into property, but then I could leverage that with debt. So now this $50,000 doesn't buy me $50,000 worth of real estate, but this $50,000 buys me $200,000 worth of real estate. Now this is going to give me cash flow, it's going to give me appreciation, it's going to give me principal pay down, it's going to give me tax benefits. All of these, if you don't know what they are, they're different ways that I make money off of real estate. And the cool thing about it is I'm not making a return on just my $50,000. I'm getting a return on this $200,000 property. So when the average appreciation in properties is 3 to 5%, I'm not getting a 3 to 5% return on my $50,000. I'm getting a 3 to 5% return on the $200,000 asset that I was able to buy with that $50,000. So you can see by using sales, I was able to make money, and then I was able to use that money to leverage into real estate. And by using debt, I was able to leverage even more in real estate so that I can get an even greater return on my investment in real estate. Now, you get the concept, but here's the deal. You always want to find a way to use leverage. So I looked at what I'd done in sales, I looked at what I'd done in real estate, and I said, hey, it's time for me to leverage both of these on YouTube. I have a skill set. I have something I can share with people. So now I can create a YouTube channel that's also going to pay me ad revenue, that's also going to give me an opportunity to connect with people, to help with people, to do what I love. But it also gave me tons of connections that helped me to leverage that to find more real estate deals, to find more good sales reps to come work with me. And so you can see, as you use the successes you've already gotten and you leverage them into bigger successes, that is how you amass wealth a lot more quickly. Now, the majority of my money at this point has come from sales and real estate, but I'm sure at some point YouTube will bring even more wealth as well, and all of them can be used as leverage into my next big successes. So now you understand leverage, and I want to share one more example. All right, now you understand how I got into sales, how I built a sales organization, how I was able to get into real estate. But the cool part about leverage is now that I understand real estate, now that I was able to amass more money, I can now do it on a bigger scale. And so this last year, I was able to purchase a 32-plex. That's 32 units of rental real estate because I was able to acquire the money through my other real estate and through sales to be able to do this. Now, because I had the skill set and I've spent years purchasing real estate, that now was something I could leverage as well with my money. And so when I found this deal, I realized immediately that with the skill set I have, I could leverage my money. And I could leverage that skill set to purchase a property that was under market value, under rented, that needed renovations. And with that skill set and with my money, within the course of 3 months, I could increase the value of that property by over $1 million. So now I'm at the point where I went from making $96,000 in the summer to in one real estate deal, increasing my net worth by over $1 million because of leveraging all of the other small wins into this last big win. And I can promise you, it won't be my last big win because I will use this and these other wins to continue to leverage into more wins. But what you need to take home is if you follow these steps, I promise you, you can use those little wins to leverage into big wins. Now, I know I said there were gonna be 5 steps, but I wanted to throw in one bonus step, and that is momentum. You need to understand that momentum and mindset is so crucial while going through this process. I see so many people that are having good wins and then they lose momentum because they have a loss or they have a failure or they run into some bump or something that slows them up. And I'm telling you right now, you need to expect the bumps. You need to know you're going to have failures. You're gonna have losses. You're gonna have struggles, but you've got to keep the momentum going. You've got to find a way to leverage the successes you still have into more big successes, because if you let momentum turn directions, I've seen so many people that have gotten beat down by a failure and then they lose momentum, they lose everything that they had, and they don't find a way to get back on the horse. And so remember, find a way to build momentum. Leverage those little successes, but then once you've done that, make sure you keep momentum going and you expect the failures and the struggles, because as you expect them, you're gonna be able to get through them and build even more momentum and learn how to deal with those even better so that you can keep that momentum going. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell. And if you've got any questions, let me know down in the comments. And just know my goal is to help you to build a huge passive income. So if you did enjoy this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell so that you can catch my future videos where I help you learn how to invest your money properly, how to build that momentum, how to use that leverage, and how to do it through real estate and sales and everything else I'm gonna talk about on the channel. I'm gonna look forward to seeing you in the future videos. Thanks guys, have a great day.